speech here, but I will try to improvise. But maybe I will have a look. But anyway, this event is held in English, so therefore I'm not speaking Lithuanian, but sveiki. It's a pleasure to see all of you here. I'm very happy that to see all these faces after 1 year of a very interesting vacation. I'm super happy to get back to work and see you all. It's really exciting and it's really interesting, and it's also sustainability, what we're going to talk about today. We have some colleagues from Miltton Group, from our trusted partner, which we are actually working with, because a lot of agencies are a part of some network or something, but it's only like formal participation. But with colleagues from Miltton, with Helen, we are working every day on the Baltic level and sometimes in the Nordic level, and we share ideas and insights. We try to gather as much experience from our colleagues from Miltton, which is one of the biggest and, in my opinion, the best PR and PA consultancies in the Nordics. We work with them every day and we try to gather experience because they have huge experience in sustainability comms, in sustainability reporting, and many other areas that are, of interest for us as a communication people. So thank you for being here. And now, as our name of the event says, no, name doesn't say that, but today we're going to talk about sustainability. Now, sustainability is the term that we hear very often. How many times have you heard it during the past week or past month? Chances are a lot. In the work environment, of course, while reading the news or in the supermarket, it's everywhere. But we have to be brutally honest. It's a very hard topic to work with as professionals. We all know that. We cannot escape it. We know that engagement from the people and the media, from society, gets ridiculously low when we talk about sustainability. We know that there is this attitude-behavior gap of when people say one thing about their attitudes towards sustainability, and when they spend money, they do exactly the opposite or something in between. We know that as communicators, as people of this interesting discipline, we are the ones who can help to close this attitude and behavior gap by our actions, by our strategies that we do, and by encouraging brands that we represent, either in-house or in agencies, to do something so that gap is closed. So, but everything starts from the inside. So therefore, Helen, today, Helen Dynamania from Miltton Nordics, who is the head of sustainability there, will tell us and will present us this very interesting survey that we did with Miltton Nordics in Tallinn and Miltton Latvia in Riga, and we here in Bosanova in Vilnius, about what people in the Baltic states, the 3 Baltic states, think about what are the attitudes towards sustainability, how do brands communicate about sustainability, and what is of importance to them. And we are super happy to share these insights with you, for you to further think and discuss how you can integrate that into your communication. I'm really looking forward to that presentation, Helen. And then afterwards, we decided that it's going to be, we need to expand our knowledge a little bit. And as communicators, we're curious people. Chances are that most of you are really big fans of Wikipedia and random articles about some random stuff. So we are super happy that our next speaker was our other speaker, Tony Zarius from also from Tallinn, from Miltton Nordics, who is an urban sustainability expert there and former chief architect of Tartu. He's going to talk about sustainable cities, and this is a topic that is very interesting. It's a little bit further from communication, but as Tony will show us, maybe not that far. So really looking forward to that as well. And afterwards, we are going to invite to the stage our dear friend, Mr. Thomas Dallas, from Little Lithuania, who is head of corporate affairs there. And we're going to talk about concrete examples of how brands can communicate sustainability successfully as Little was. And so, without further ado, and without looking to the script, did I did well? Okay, I think I've said everything that I needed to say. Don't leave, well, after the discussion, we're going to have the excursion in this wonderful museum in English, or in Lithuanian, right? Okay, yeah, in English, in English. So we're going to have a very interesting excursion here. So you're going to see what the interesting stuff is here in this museum. So please do it. It's going to take around 40 minutes, but it's really, really worth it. And once again, extremely pleasure to see all of you. Have a very smart, curious, and sustainable morning. And Kevin, what's yours?
Well, thank you. I hear that the mic works well, so even people from the back can hear me. I'm really glad to be here, and I'm really thankful for Vitautas and our dear partners here for inviting me, because the aim of this survey we did was to see the differences between all of the Baltic countries, but also to understand how similar we are when we talk about sustainability. And probably you have also heard a lot of the term ESG. Now that we talk about in the business context, the management of ESG, environmental, social, and governance aspects. So when conducting this sustainability survey, we also tried to look sustainability something as much more than only climate crisis or environmental issue. So we're talking about sustainability in this like a broader sense. Actually, we have done this survey starting from 2017, not in all of the countries, but Finns and sometimes Swedes have also been participating in that. Miltton started in Finland, so this year we were conducting the quantitative survey in Baltics, but Finns also had the qualitative aspect to it that carried out interviews. So we can also compare a bit the changes that we see or the trends we see in the Nordics that will most probably follow in some time to this region as well. And this year as well, I have compared all of the answers with the Finnish, so we can have a little different points from there. But what do we see? Of course, considering the current market situation, when we talk about sustainability and consuming, then the cost aspect is most important to people. So we didn't put that aside. We know that how much services or products cost, that will play a huge role. But it doesn't mean that people don't consider other criteria. It's not that we go to a shop and we always buy the cheapest one. There are many, many other aspects that we consider as well. So we try to come up with the sustainability criteria that play also a great role in making these decisions. And what do we conclude from the survey? Mainly is that people expectations are very, very high on companies, and the demand for the sustainable products or services is very, very high. So people also want companies to make sustainability easily understandable for them, because you can't just say that your product or service is green. You also have to say how it is. green, or what's the climate aspect there, or what's the like social aspect behind the product. And we know that when we go to a shop, we have to, like in a really short time period, we have to make many, many decisions. We don't have time to go through all of the labels. So it's really important to also work on your like whole brand identity when regarding to sustainability. So there will be some trust built for the consumers. And the trend we see really clearly starting from 2017 already, and this is a rising trend, is that people's expectations for the companies is to not only take part in the public debate about sustainability and social issues, but also carry out concrete actions. And as you see, it's the highest in Lithuania, actually. Estonia follows quite short behind, but it's a trend that goes up year by year. So if you are wondering whether you should do something regarding the sustainability, then the answer is probably here, that this is a crucial part of the future communication and marketing. And we also asked about how the company should demonstrate their sustainability. And the top 5 this year is here. And last time we carried out the survey, the top 4 was the same. But now, interestingly, first time there are these sustainability audits and internal control that, as you see in Lithuania, the expectation for that from the people and the consumers are the most highest. So I don't know if it's regarding to the European Union new regulation about sustainability reporting that also puts a lot of pressure now to companies to report on their sustainability issues. But definitely we want some like bulletproof facts about companies' sustainability. But of course, certified products, services, and processes is something that we consider that is a good way to show your sustainability, but also transparent communication and reporting, therefore. So there are 2 kinds of reports. The one that is this hardcore bureaucracy based on the data that you have to show to European Union or your government, but the other one is also how you translate all these numbers into understandable story and shorter like bits to your customers. But of course, there is this realistic sustainability goals of the company. We don't want these big words that sound not achievable. Also, we asked about the most important sustainability issues that people are worried about, and we saw that the pollution part makes a pretty high role here. And it was really interesting to see that pollution was something that in all of the countries, the elderly people were worried about. So I wonder if it's because they have seen the change in the environment already. But also due to the current economic situation, of course, more and more these social issues are arising, like minimum wage question, and also human rights criteria. And here are the top 7 most important sustainability issues that our answers thought that the company should have a greater impact on. I will just tell you that because it might be quite hard to get a good picture from here. I will send you definitely all of the materials. so you don't have to write anything down. But here we can see that the pollution and microplastics are on top, but also circular economy and overconsumption and more, as I told, like social issues will be rising here as well. And reducing air pollution somehow is extremely different, extremely important to Lithuanians. Again, you can draw the conclusions here yourself. Maybe the air quality is somehow perceived differently here. But overall, the rest of the things, we don't see too big changes, maybe only that in Estonia, we have this much higher percent of curbing overconsumption. Maybe it's because I think we are the country that has the most shop space per capita in Europe. So we kind of like feel that the overconsumption is all around us. And interestingly, Finns percentages about environment are a bit lower, and they are more concerned about the social issues. I think it might be because the awareness of the environmental topics has been around for so much time that all of the companies it's their hygiene to already show this data. And we were kind of worried in 2019 whether someone cares about the Baltic Sea. But this year, first time for Latvians, they thought that Baltic Sea pollution is important. It was in top 5 for them. So we also see that we have more awareness about the situation of our sea. But without us said that it's not the sea, but once. But still, this is the closest by water reserve we had. And also we see some differences between age groups and genders. We see that younger people are much more closer to the Nordic country, Nordic countries' general view of sustainability in all of the countries. And also for them, gender equality and animal rights is something much more important than for elderly people. Something that I'm not very proud of is that in Estonia and Latvia, we see that there is a huge gap between men and women when thinking about the pay gap. And it's a compliment to you that in Lithuania, the difference between the genders is not that big, that despite of being a man, you also think that the age gap, not age gap, but the pay gap is important, something important to overcome. Cybersecurity and information security, interestingly, very important to elderly people in Estonia and Lithuania. I think it might be because they are the target group for all of the scam schemes. So this is something, if you work in a field that is somehow related to web services, that this is a good way to approach to your elderly clients, for example. And at least in Estonia, I know that the Telia, for example, is doing that really, really good. And as I said, environmental pollution issues are top of mind of the sustainable choices in our plates as well. Eco labels and sustainability labels be something that is not too relevant in this region. It's only in Estonia that people are quite well aware of, like, European Union eco label, also the Nordic Swan label, these certified labels. Of course, local production, transparency of the value chain and the production methods are important to people to understand. And if you are doing good job with the rights of your employees or people in your supply chain, then also it's good idea to show that somehow, because people are actually interested in that. But at the same time, in this region especially, I think that the most important criteria for us for defining something sustainable is the product longevity and durability, actually. So we're very pragmatic here. We don't want that kind of like a fuss, all that fuss about climate friendly. We want things to last and be reusable. And Lithuanians from the age group 35 think that it's extremely important. So when coming up with a new product or service also, it's really important to put an effort into the design phase, how it will be reused, where you can return that, etc. Yeah, and I would say that while the veganism is a trend amongst younger people, and we can think of that these kinds of products will be more and more consumed, and people are more and more interested in that. It's also important to still provide animal-based products that are somehow more sustainable. And something that I just said is that we are very pragmatic here when we ask that in what criteria you say that something is not sustainable. The first thing everybody says is the quality, but the quality you usually find out after you have already bought the thing, and you understand that I shouldn't have bought it because it doesn't like fulfill my expectations. But when purchasing the product, you always look at the materials, and interestingly, also the packaging materials play a lot of role. So you make the decision based on the things that you can touch and see, even if you don't see inside of the product. A little bit less important, but still the top 5 is the manufacturer and the country of manufacture. I would say that Finns look the country much more than we, the Baltics. But we don't definitely always decide based on the brand. It's still important to carry out all the sustainability information for the services and products as well in the larger scope. And now, when we see asked about the product categories that people are most worried about, this is the top 5. I would say that people are most worried about the things they have to consume daily. So the decisions that you make daily. We also ask, for example, for vehicles and cars, but maybe this is something that you buy once in, I don't know, 10 years, and you put a lot of effort in making the research. So in top 5, there are like these daily products like detergents and cleaning products, makeup and cosmetics, foods, clothes, but also electronic products. Especially high is the percentage of detergents and cleaning products in Latvia and Lithuania. I don't know what's the reason behind that. Maybe you have had some, I don't know, media prices here regarding these products. I can say that in Estonia also, like financial services, for example, was in the top 5 when talking about services, and that was really, really clearly related to some money laundering crises that we have had in media. So also it depends a lot of what has been in the media recently. Is there any scandal with some company, or is there some activity group who are making really good work for animal rights, for example? And Estonia are worried about, Estonian younger people are really worried about clothes and overconsumption. So everything that it's this fast fashion related. But at the same time, it doesn't show in the numbers. I mean, we still have many of these shops and people are buying from there, while people are at the same time concerned about the sustainability of this industry particularly. But about services, top 5, construction and renovation is something that we are worried about. It's a very complex and difficult ecosystem. It's really difficult to make big changes in that area, but we see at least from Estonia, and Tõnis can tell a bit more about it later, that all of the real estate companies are really, really getting more into sustainability. And also the demand for example, life cycle analysis for buildings or lead certifications are something that we hear a lot more about when our clients approach to us. Of course, logistics and transport is something that makes people worried about, but also wellness and beauty, that is most highest again in Lithuania, household and cleaning, but also restaurant and cafe services. So these are the areas that should somehow address these sustainability issues even more. And I'm really glad to see that culture services is something that people are not worried about their sustainability. They can concentrate on other things. So the quality, materials, and its packaging is something that will define the sustainability. And the last question that we asked, especially in Baltics, we didn't ask that question in Finland at that time because our Finnish colleagues found that it's not that relevant. I think that they have changed their mind by now, but we asked also that how important is for people that the supply chain is not related to Russia. So Estonians and Lithuanians are the most anxious about these things. If you want to maintain your good public appearance, then it's better if you don't carry out your businesses in Russia. Probably, you know, we have a lot of like media fuss about this topic in Estonia. Yeah, but for a conclusion, what would I say from here is that it's important to integrate all of the sustainability actions that your company does into your communication, because people are really, really interested in this, even if they still make decisions based on other criteria. But still it's a good way to build the brand trust. Also, it's important to integrate the sustainability already into the design phase, whether it's the packaging or the product itself or the service that you're providing, that it has to work in the whole ecosystem. It's not that you just give something out and don't care about what happens to it later. And one of the main things for companies to take into consideration is that when you want to be sustainable, you can't just say about the positive impact that you have. You always have to deal with your negative impacts. And in here, it's really crucial to conduct an adequate analysis of what are your negative impacts. If your products are helping along with increasing the microplastics in the environment, you have to deal with it. You can't put that aside and say that we are the super women-friendly company, you know. Maybe we are in a peak where it's very good time to start to be ahead of the others. I would say that don't wait too long, because then the advantage will disappear. It might be also, we know that when you are first in something, then you might have some hard lessons, but at the same time, it's a place to learn from. And lastly, it's important to also influence the whole industry that you're working. Because when you do something with all of the other companies who consider you as a like competitor, they will also follow. They will also have this push that we should do something. So yeah, I have some thoughts about the communication here as well. Because I'm out of time, I won't be reading that aloud here, because I know that we will answer these questions in our discussion later. So thank you.
So we will have these slides. Afterwards, we will send you over them via email. And now it's my pleasure to invite Tonis from Tallinn to talk, and Tartu to talk about sustainable cities. Thank you so very much. This is yours, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Perfect. I'm really glad to be here. Back in Vilnius, I love the city. I also have some pictures of Vilnius also from my last trip, so looking forward to it. And by background, I'm an urban planner, I'm an architect, and right now I'm also doing my second master's in social sciences regarding how to drive change in societies. So I will be talking about, of course, cities and urban planning and about change. And when we are talking about change, we always, have to think about future, and we have to also look back into the history to understand where we are going and where we are coming from. Now, I always like to start with this concept. It's a really simple concept. Why the cities are, they are because of people, to come together for different people, to work together, to be more productive in one environment. And this famous dead guy, a few thousand years ago, Aristotle said, that it's a mix of differences that really brings up a great community. It's such a simple concept that it seems that we have sometimes forgotten about it. One of the reasons is because the way the cities have been evolving since the 19th century, where there was a huge transition of urbanization, there was a new drive of efficiency. And the reason for it was the former historical cities, they couldn't tackle the issue of really dense populations coming together. So there was this one day in London, they called this the Great Stink. London has everything great, the Great Fire in '66, the Great Stink and whatnot. And it was basically the Thames was a sewer, so the system of the city didn't work anymore. And these kinds of crises, also in medical crisis, they all had a push for innovation in medical sciences, in engineering. So this is again a London example. We saw this kind of a push of innovation and a push for efficiency also in urban planning. So for example, we can take the Osman planning system, we can take the Cerda in Barcelona, and it's all a drive of efficiency. And then decades forward, we had the modernists who really went to the extreme, coining the city as a machine. So we started from people and now we are arriving for machines. It's a really different concept. And this paradigm of the modernists is actually something that is still driving our cities and the way we are planning our cities. One of the tools we are still using from the modernists is, for example, zoning, which is basically that you have all the different colors of a city, different parts, it basically says that here is your home, here is your work, and here is the factory, and here is your services, which means that there is no mingling in between them. You have really monofunctional areas all around the city. And this kind of a trend has brought us, huge segregation issues. We don't have to look far. This photo I took from the municipality in Vilnius, seeing the contrasts of different areas. We are seeing a huge growing consumption of land, of resources, and at the same time, again, growing consumption of time, because we need more time to move in between of all the different areas. So the drive of efficiency finally got us into this point where a simple junction or crossroads is bigger than a town. Doesn't sound efficient, really. So one of the key concepts that the economists already found out, Jevons, in the 19th century is trying to answer why this kind of a drive for efficiency doesn't work, is because once you make something more efficient, the consumption of it is even faster. So each time we are believing that innovation in technology will save us, that's only half the equation. We have to always think about how we actually use this new technology and how we tackle the usage or the rise in consumption. So it is important because this kind of a drive of efficiency has gotten us really overshooting our planetary boundaries, and we are feeling this. We're truly feeling this. And the social scientists, they call it the new transition phase. The former one was the 19th century urbanization, and now we are in a new deep transition phase of sustainability. What it really means, I guess we all will have a different definition of it, also in this room, of what this new transition means and where we are going, we don't know, but we don't definitely have to know, Economist Mariana Mazzucato likes to say and bring out this moonshot idea when Kennedy said that we will go to the moon. I don't know how much it will cost. It will cost terribly. I don't know how we will get there, but we have to go there. And this is something that really brought out extensive amounts of innovation in different kinds of fields in society. So we are kind of in a moonshot situation right now. Now, talking a bit about the difficulties in this kind of a transition is understanding that in order to drive this huge change, we have to understand that the different kinds of mechanisms and systems that comprise our society, we have to understand all the different levels, like what is the technology, what are the regulations, what's the cultural and symbolic values. For example, this analysis is made by for mobility. When we talk about mobility, you can never forget about symbolic values and user experiences. If you want to make a change there, you must understand there's a human person back there making a choice every day. So you have to understand all these different levels. It's really difficult, especially if you're also working in communications, because you have to be aware that you have really conflicting ideas all the time in the media, in the public, in the discussions. This is 2 screenshots from one newspaper from one day, where on the one side we have a politician saying that Green Utopia is, utopia, and then we have a PhD really important scientist saying that we're way past the time that we should have done something. And now the public reads both of them, and it's hard to choose. a lot of people choose the left one. That's easy, why don't I have to do anything? But we have to be a bit more smart than that. We have to see also, did I miss something? Yeah, we have to talk about also participation, the way we talk with people. So me as an urban planner, I've been in a lot of these events where there's, a planning document is on the wall, then there's an invitation for the people, please come to the event, let's talk about the document on the wall, there's an open mic, and then you get a lot of people who like the open mic, and they simply come and talk about something, not the document on the wall. And it really doesn't work as a participatory method. The other version is, this is a concrete example that we have in Tartu. It's a climate assembly event, which is a really cool method that you really have a kind of a mini city there. Different age groups, different people from different regions, different genders. And it starts off by giving all this mini city information. You have experts there talking about the issue at hand, and then they get to discuss and get ideas also to the officials. It's a hugely different concept of how to speak with people and get their ideas. We have to also understand that we have huge amounts of regulations. I believe all of you in your fields know some kinds of regulations that we call lock-ins, basically the kinds of places that are stopping you from making a change. They might be really small details in some kind of a document that is stopping you from making the change. And we have to understand these path dependencies. Here's a simple example from Estonia, how year by year the normative of parking per apartment has been rising all the time. So at the same time, we are talking in the cities that we have to have more greenery, less asphalt areas, but the regulations are working the other way around. So we have a lot of these path dependency situations. Here's another example, a historical family house area and a newer family house area, the same scale. So you have, in one area, you have 35 families living there. On the other one, you have 19 families living there. Here's a picture of where I grew up. On the left-hand side, there was a street, two-way street, also for cyclists, also for pedestrians. It's 4.5 meters wide. Everybody's happy. There's a lot of greenery. That's the picture of new regulations. There are less people living there, but the amount of space we need to move for some reason, it seemed more safe to us. But the outcome is that people want to live here. They don't want to really live there and enjoy their time with their kids over there. It is possible to tackle these changes and to bring out smart decisions, to bring out smart database regulations. This is an example how we change the system in one city. This is a lot of layers. Basically, it's a map that shows you how walkable the city is. Where are the different services in the city? Where are the shops, the hairdresser, where's the kindergarten, where's the school? And how well you can access from each of the buildings in the city into these services. And this is used as a planning solution, so you can see where you don't have enough services, we need to build some. This is also used to make less parking spaces per apartment if you have accessibility. And this is a really logical database solution. Also, the politicians found it really understandable, so there is no fuss about it. So it's possible to change. Another nice example. Thanks. A great example from Vilnius. Last time I was here, I was meeting with your former chief engineer, and he was really happy about this manual. We are also happy about it, and in Estonia, we want to translate because we love it so much. But it's really simple key concepts of how we should actually design our city streets or public spaces and with smart regulations. And Helen already mentioned that change is coming into the regulations. This is something that real estate owners have to know, because since 2028 already, we have to be calculating the life cycles of all of the buildings in the EU. There's the new directive is out. And that means basically that not only is energy efficiency important, but it's important where we build the building, what materials do we use, and if the building is needed to be, modified or taken down, we have to even see that in the life cycle. So that's a really huge step in built environment regulations. But we are seeing good practices. I really enjoyed the walk in Baltis region, which is a really awesome area for me because it really doesn't go with the old, not old, like the 90s and 2000s regulations. It's kind of turning back into the cities for people concept. It has mixed housing areas, social services, nature-based solutions, and also you have different kinds of living. So that's really important in order to fight segregation, that you have different kinds of people, different kinds of families living in one place. Super important. And also, if your family is changing and it does evolve over time, you don't have to leave Baltis. You can choose another type of townhouse to live there. So it's a simple concept. Also, placemaking, meaning that working towards sustainability also simply means good design. This is a really, I think, enjoyable work in front of Swedbank. And next to the MO Museum, a good concept of bringing, rainwater also into the design concept. And it is also about resilient planning. We are seeing that all the huge weather events that we are having, we have to have new concepts, how to design the cities, how to design our infrastructure. So basically, it's historical solutions, simple solutions, and we need to bring them up in order to have great resilience. This is an example from Aarhus, where they have huge problems with water. So they have these kinds of, for huge water events, they have these kinds of basins. And it could be also another function could be added into the resilient planning. Here's an example of a small field for kids to play in, but on this huge water event, this turns into a basin for extra water to keep inside. Simple solutions and really important at that. And biodiversity, of course. If we don't know, then Tartu in Estonia is also the cultural capital of Europe this year, and curating biodiversity is one of the flagship projects of the city. So yeah, just to conclude, what I'm talking about is basically a new planning method that takes into account not only the environmental aspect, but also the social aspect, also the governance aspect. You have to have all of these different layers intermingled. And why this Aarhus region is important, because they had the same problems that we have with different Soviet housing areas. And what they did was they totally transformed the area. And one of the first buildings they built into this area was a new town hall to get inside. Then they built a new school, a sports hall, a library as a community center. They also created a more like city type main street to get people hanging out there, making a better public space there. And now it's becoming a more and more popular place to live. Some people call this concept the 50-minute cities. I have a more radical idea. It's simply called cities. The same cities that the dead guy a few thousand years ago said. And yeah, it's simply just a smart thing to do, really. So thank you.
Thank you. And I would like to invite Helen and Antanas. And my colleagues are, yeah, super efficient. So let's talk. Tony's, in your presentation, there was this slide about, talking heads versus discussing heads. So we have this. Thank you for having the slide. I'm going to start from Danas and Danas. Well-sized thank you, Bangina Tijachu, for you for being here. And as Little is recognized as one of the most sustainable brands in the Bay. So please tell us more about how do you integrate this message in both your external and internal communications, and how do you celebrate it with your colleagues and employees? And
yes, collaboration is the best part of this. So first of all, thank you for invitation. To be on the humble side, I don't think that Lidl is great in sustainability, but I think we're doing pretty good. and we will be great one day, and we are improving it. And by the way, thank you for your presentation. Looking at it, I thought that for the year 2022, we are almost on the same level in terms of revenue or market share with the second player in Lithuania, which has more than 3 times more stores than we have, which then is the effective way of usage of land in Lithuania. So one worry, but I haven't thought about that in that way. So I would say a few then sentences about Lidl. I'm pretty sure that most of you have been in our stores. Have you been in our stores? Yeah. Good. But few things important to put into the context. So Lidl is the largest retailer in Europe, 30 plus countries. Why 30 plus? Because in these upcoming weeks and months, the group is expanding into few more countries in Balkans, so 30 plus, and it has its German company has really a strong and unique way of managing things. I would say in a German way. There are no regional structures, so meaning that there is headquarters in Germany and then 30 plus countries, which can give you an idea that if you want to manage such an organization, so you have to do it pretty well. So I would give it as a parallel as with the basketball team. So there is a really clear strategy how the company wants to do things with 50-year-old coach, because the group is operating with 50-year-old, and very strong players who has flexibility to act in a situation accordingly to what the market needs. So all the countries, Lithuania as well, has flexibility in tactical and operational levels, and this is how we manage to compete, and this is how we manage to grow in 7 years to the position where we are. The shareholder of the whole group is the single person, you might say the family. So for me, this is the sign of how he sees the sustainability and how he wants to continue to have or to see continuity of the business. So sustainability is important for him, not because he wants to tick in the box, but he wants to really hears how it will be next generation, or maybe few generations in the future. And also the shareholder is really important. Well, he is very well connected in the local society, and it's very important for him how various things will be seen in all the countries that he is operating. And this good level of corporate governance, I would say so. From the communication standpoint, so there are several topics or areas which are most important for us and which could you clearly see what we say or feel in the stores. So first of all, we are low price retailer, right? So the price is number one topic, and the consumers in Lithuania still have price as the most important topic, even though we see from various researchers that sustainability importance is growing. We show that very clearly, but still the price is there. So therefore we are communicating the price, which is our differentiate. From at least from the corporate communication point of view, sustainability is number 2 priority, and we are the best employer in our sector. So top employer number 3, and these are 3 areas where we'll be where we are and we'll be strong, and we will defend those. Talking about sustainability, the main topic or the area where I think we are the strongest, this is related to our customers, and this is the product. Again, we showed us all the categories, and this is how we go deeper. And cooperation with marketing, and we have my colleague Christina there is really strong. I think this is one of the success factors, that person does not only believe that sustainability is important, but also in the brand research, the part or the characteristic what the customers say about sustainability parts is also there, meaning that Christina and her KPIs also have to think how she will achieve this factor. That opens let's say discussion about the priority, discussion about the budget. It's on a different level, I would say. The main challenge I have, I think, and I think it could be also in other organizations, it's internal involvement, because it's always a matter of priorities. The key factor that works in our case, that sustainability, it's put in very hard in Lithuanian, I would say, įsriegtas into our business strategy, meaning that every time that there are strategy presentation, there are very concrete KPIs in CO2, in plastic, in what do customers say, and then the board and the representatives from the shareholder have to review what is the progress. Again, talking about priorities, talking about the budget, it's easier. We are not perfect. The last example where we are not perfect, but we will be better, is you might have heard. So we have, I would say, the best loyalty program in the market. So it's basically based on Lidl Plus app, which is the most popular app of this kind in Lithuania. Therefore, I think that our loyalty program is the best. And we don't have any plastic, because plastic is not sustainable and we are digital, so plastic is something from the yesterday. But then it is part of our customers, it's a bit older people who do, in most of the cases, who do have the smartphones, because Jonas sells them for a really low price, I don't know, 80, 100 euros, but not all of them manage to have digital skills enough to use them. So a few years ago, we had some complaints. We did some measures. Apparently, it was not enough. So a couple of months ago, we again did some measures. So now we are back at the drawing board to think what we can do better to help them to on board. And when we will do that, we will say so.
I think that I really caught up your idea about, and then thank you for this answer. And I really caught up on your idea that in terms of that you are 3 times more efficient than your competitor. It's a really nice angle of sustainability, and it really struck me. I really like this remark that you made. And if there would be one simple advice for people, this is your colleagues, and you know most all of them, regarding the sustainability comms that you could give to your colleagues, and we can cut this from the recording, what that would be.
So the main challenge, I would say, for at least for us, was and still is internal involvement of the people. What is the little way to tackle such an issues is to have the projects in all the countries, which are basically mandatory. But as a good player, you can adjust and adapt. And basically, there is no freedom to postpone it, to cancel it. You just have to implement it. So in the basketball terms, this is a discipline. So you can't be a very good basketball player if you don't train 2 times a day. So you will not be visible, and the customers will not remember our efforts if we will not communicate in the regular way. So both internally with such a project and also externally. Second thing, it's good cooperation to have the 360 degrees communication externally and also internally. And the latest idea that we started to develop, it's, well, I'm a big believer that you can feel the brand when you are just in front of it, or in our case, when you are in the stores. So it's always nice to talk about sustainability with PowerPoints, showing the videos, but the best way to do that is to be in the store, to have an excursion, and then to touch those things which are related. Products, to show how we deal with plastic, to show the solar power plant which is on the roof. So we started that kind of small excursions internally and externally, and now thinking how to scale it. So this is in the pipeline in current days.
just coming back to what Helen said, that if you have good working conditions and a very good offer for people who might work for you, talk about it. And it's impossible not to see that in Little, because just on the weekend when I was there, it was just like huge billboard near the entrance that says, come work with us. It's the best conditions in the market. So yeah, it's a good example.
Wow. I see that people are smiling in our stores, and I was working in our stores for 3 days now, it's almost a week, so I can understand why.
So thank you, Thomas and Helen. Maybe let's continue from where we left in the presentation. So about storytelling and about the messaging that we should do when talking about sustainability. What are the research-based insights that you could provide?
Maybe I would even talk a bit wider in that sense that the survey shows some parts of it, but we also see that working daily with our clients, what really works and what doesn't work. And what I really liked that you said that we are not perfect. This is one of the things that we see that some of our clients are afraid of talking about their sustainability because they think that they are not doing enough, because people are intelligent, they are critical of what they're doing. But I would say that it's still important to even communicate that you're not perfect, but to address the things that you're dealing with. Because that builds trust, and you don't have to be perfect. It's rather bad if you say big words that doesn't have some background to it. And maybe the biggest problem currently regarding to sustainability communication is that companies are not comparable. Everyone says that they're sustainable or their product is green, but it's very bad for the clients and also the companies themselves if they're not comparable, if they don't open up what's behind these words. And this is the problem that the European Union currently is also tackling with the new, probably you have heard, the Green Claims Directive. And there are other directives and regulations coming along that is trying to now establish some kind of like a common understanding. What do we think when we talk about sustainability? So you need to provide some figures, some facts, and what I mean by that is that if a person goes to a shop and they see that the similar category products both are sustainable, one of them thinks that they made a new package design. Another one has put a lot of investment into turning the whole cycle of the product around. And that's a really different approach to the product. So we want that if you make these everyday decisions, that you can get this information from the producers already. I think that even the shops can't provide it because they too don't have this information always. But the same Green Claims Directive now is bringing along this digital passport concept that every product and every service should have, like a QR code or something where you can really follow the life cycle behind this product and also the value chain that's behind that. So I think that while I'm not definitely myself a big fan of bureaucracy, we still need to establish some kind of like a common ground on sustainability communication as well.
I think that it was in the survey that we did in 2021, is when we asked what people expect from companies when they're talking about sustainability. One of the top things that they expect from companies that they want companies to talk not only about good things that they did in sustainability, but also the challenges that they face.
Mm.
So being more human, yeah, and it's kind of a resonance with the whole trend of the society. Is the hustle culture and the work is changed to more balance and then taking care of yourself and everything. And it's probably that society expects that from the companies as well, to be more authentic, to say that, look, yeah, we get it. We need to achieve goals. That's not negotiable, yeah. But it's quite hard for us, especially if you are in an industry that it's, so to speak, very carbon dependent. Yes. Look, we have challenges, but this is what we are doing. And as people, this is what we expect from other people to be attending. So probably it's just very simple. I mean, you know, we as communicators, we like a lot of, you know, very strong and complex concepts, but maybe it's just, you know, be simple and be authentic and just say the nice.
And I would say in communication, kittens are very important. So kittens works always. So we have kittens sometimes. Actually, yesterday we had Christina kitten, yes. But on sustainability topic, we have seals. So one of the projects that you probably know, it's related with seals. And so every time we feel that we need a higher engagement, so we do seals or kittens.
That's very true. I mean, all of the marketing rules that we know so very well, they are still in place, that they still work. And sometimes you have to simplify things so that people will understand. But if you need to, in Estonia, we have a good example, if you need to protect the forest, take the cutest animal that lives there, and this is the most effective campaign.
I see that Jonas is very happy about that because he's a big lover of kittens, and although he's always threatening to give away his one, but yeah. But Tony, let's talk about cities. Yes, also let's come from communication to cities and just dwell in that. We are living in the region where Vilnius and Tallinn as well, and other cities in the region are always recognized as, you know, these green cities, as livable cities, as cities where who are really close to the concept of 15 minute cities. At least what I understand as a non-professional who is just reading the news. But how do you say the cities communicate their greenness and their sustainability as municipalities, as you've been working with?
Well, that's a huge question because, you know, cities, in the end, they are political entities, which means there are a lot of conflicting signals also coming from the cities about communicating things. And also we have to take into account that the citizens are really, as I showed you also, we are all very different people. And when we think about the behavior scientist models, then we have to understand that also one person can be in so many different readiness levels on different issues. Well, for example, in Estonia, we had this car tax debate. We're still having it. And you might expect a car debate is bloody one. And a lot of people make the simple mistake that they divide people into two, car lovers, car haters, which is really wrong. People are in different types of stages of readiness. For example, some people could be totally ignorant of the subject, not knowing anything about it. They could be, you know, nudged in some direction. Some people maybe are already taking action and, you know, working or moving away from this car mobility. Some people are maybe have taken action and now are back into their old habits. And some people are contemplating about taking action. And this is in one person and in one subject. And that when you think about some other subjects, I don't know, besides mobility, you could have how do you have an attitude towards, I don't know, nature, some other aspects. They are already in another stage. So this is a huge question, of course, for us. How do you speak to people? You know, if you want to give out one media, for example, an article, you can't speak to all of the different people in all different stages. You know, you have to somehow make it concrete. If I knew the answer, I would be king, of course. But that's the beauty of it, also to really have more tailor-made solutions of how to speak to different people about difficult subjects, difficult issues, and that's the fun of the work.
Thank you. And now it's time for questions from the audience, and I know that Camilla wants to have one, so I am giving. Oh no, we have another one. So the microphone is coming And we are all ears and all yours.
Thanks. So I have a question for Tony. You were talking about 15 minutes city concept, right? And there are businesses that they gather somewhere in some areas, right? And as you showed, some areas are empty. So what do you mean by saying we have to let them go there, right? So what means by we, and who have to encourage the businesses to go to some certain areas where, for example, there is empty, let's say, in terms of coffee places or beauty salons or something like that. So, so what do you think? No, is that we?
Yeah, that's a good question. If we think about urban planning, it's a huge, complex technical system, and we have to understand all the different actors in the process. But basically, it all boils down to how the city council is planning the city. That's the real core of the system, where you can do something and where you can do not something. So that's where it all starts. Of course, the difficult thing is that when we think about urban master plans, these are the documents that look way into the future, like 30 years into the future. And they might be today in a conflict with the reality of real estate. And you can't say that according to this master plan, you have to do things that are not reasonable. For example, where Little could build the next building, you can't work against the market. But if a city has concrete guidelines where they want to go in 20 or 30 years, that's what private entrepreneurs see and abide by. That's the way they know clearly how to invest in the future and where they have future possibilities. So it may be a vague answer to a really concrete question.
Anyone else has a question to our distinguished speakers? Because I have plenty more. But... So I will go on with that. Let's talk a little bit about the most exciting topic of all, the sustainability boarding and CSRD and everything that is coming. We also have to be honest about that. I mean, it's struck the market not unexpectedly, but still it came as a minor, not a surprise, but it just was not something that we were extremely waiting for or something like that. But now it's here, the mandatory reporting, and usually how the cycle of communication works in most cases is that you communicate about the report, and therefore this is the cycle of communication that is very, very normal. But a question for you, Helen. Now, can communication projects be regarded, and the special tailored communication projects, be regarded as sustainability efforts by the company, and therefore be included in the sustainability report, and help the company to achieve those sustainability goals? Basically, vice versa. Not reporting the news, but creating the news and then using its results for benefit.
Yeah, I really like the angle that you brought into this. Well, one of the baseline things in reporting is also the communication with stakeholders, both internal and external. And that is already something that provokes this change itself. So I'm sad to see that currently many of at least Estonian big companies see this reporting only as like an upcoming bureaucracy that they have to fulfill, and they just want to somehow like get it done with. But there are actually so many opportunities, and when talking about communication, it's also a very big possibility how to develop your business strategy based on the needs of your stakeholders, both internal and external. So I would say that definitely yes, it's a big opportunity how to see the new financial risks and also opportunities in the whole business strategy. Because as we know, the baseline for CSRD, Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, is this double materiality analysis. So basically what this is that you analyze your impacts, but you also analyze your financial risks and opportunities. And it's not just get the numbers on the paper and get done with. It's actually, you might, this is basically like a risk assessment and risk management thing. It's only that it's now very clearly on this ESG route.
I think that it's it's very interesting what the different markets are in every single Baltic market when it comes to sustainability reporting. Maybe not market, but what is the scope of work that will be done in the markets? And I think last year we with the colleagues in Finland were calculating. And Finland is a country of 5 million people with, of course, huge economy. And that criteria that was applied at the time for the companies that they have to have mandatory sustainability reporting from 2025. In Finland, it was 600 companies. In Estonia, it was around 40 companies. In Latvia, I don't remember, but it was something close to Estonia. Can you guess the number? Which was the number of the companies in Lithuania that fit the criteria? Just random guess.
It's actually bigger now in Estonia as well. It's like around 200, 300 or something like that.
Try to guess what was the number in Lithuania.
5.
I was 400. 400 companies in Lithuania. I have to think about it every day now, about sustainability reporting and how to integrate sustainability into their comps. That was last year's data, and I might be, wrong on a couple of hundred, but this is what we had last year. So basically, it's becoming the everyday, the topic as we were starting this event from the very beginning. It's everywhere. And it's not only Big Four, it's not only lawyers, but the role of communication people, especially us as communicators, of thinking ways of how to help brands that we either work with or either in-house or as a consultant, of how can we find the ways of doing things that matter and bring the nice change and then put it into the sustainability report that that most of the big brands in Lithuania will have to have, is probably the question for us communicators to answer. And it's a quite interesting and exciting challenge, in my opinion. And it's a topic really worth exploring. How do you think about it?
Two things comes to my mind. So one thing, well, first of all, I'm not the biggest fan of the structure where sustainability is under responsibility of communication of corporate affairs. Then I thought, okay, so let's look how it works at Lidl. So I'm actually quite happy that it works pretty well. Again, through those quite direct ways of working. And especially the hardest parts, such as collection of data, analysis, it's again mandatory to support us in the finance. The responsibility lies there, so meaning that we have quite free hands for the communication parts where we can be more creative. Looking at the overall market of sustainability consultants, I think there is still a big chance for someone willing to do that in Lithuania. I was a bit exploring more closely this market 7-8 years ago. Then we had only few people working in the area or thinking about doing something. One agency started at that time in Estonia, which is I think the largest now in the Baltics, which now has one person represented in Lithuania, and few PR agencies thinking or doing something. Big Four are looking at it. Some of them have people, and the legal, the lawyers, contoros, what's the word in English, also have few people. but still only one or two dedicated consultancies that can support. So looking at this market, I think that will be again the way for everyone to be better, to have the strong competence that you can basically buy rather easily if you don't want to buy it from the big fours, PR agencies or lawyers.
Yes, this is actually also what I wanted to ask for. What is the situation? And as we see, it's the need for sustainability experts is a great need, and then there's a great demand in the market, and I'm sure it's the same in Estonia. Yes.
Yes, and I would add up here that the sustainability expert is not like this person with similar skills. We need various sustainability experts, like the ones who could work with real estate, urban planning, the ones who have a really strong background in communications, the ones who are into hardcore data analysis. So the variety of skills we need in working in this field is really impressive, and I think that this also is the answer when you think about where do I, as a company leader, should go. Should I go to a lawyer or should I go to a PR agency? Is behind of that is what is your goal, what you want to achieve with your sustainability work.
And of course, it's time for commercial. Colleagues from Miltton in Nordics and Tallinn, and in Finland as well, and Sweden. Dear friends and colleagues, if you have struggles with sustainability reporting or you have questions, we would be happy to connect you with our friends and partners who are working with this every single day, especially in Finland. They've been doing this for 15 years now. So just give us a call, write us an email, and just have a talk, and maybe some of your worries will be solved instantly. Commercial end. So, just to wrap everything up. So, as the famous Lithuanian band, the roof, the heat is getting higher. So, the planet's spinning, and the change is happening, and what we're doing is we're mitigating it. What do you think? With the current perception of sustainability topics, and we know the engagement, we know the numbers, are you optimistic? Do you think that this topic will become one of the top topics in the news and the media, or it's going to stay that way until we will have palms and videos?
I think it's definitely a topic of to stay. What we will see is, a bit like Helen said, it's a horizontal issue. It will integrate into all the other subjects and to all the business models that we have. Right now, it's a thing, a bit of a separate thing. Tomorrow, it will be integrated, and maybe we will talk about it differently because we have, it's inside everything. So we don't have to bring it out as a Green Deal or as a green transition or deep transition. We're in it. And I definitely believe it will bring a change. We are seeing it already. We are seeing new business models. We are seeing huge investments going where you can get green energy. So it's all changing the market anyway.
Yeah, I think that climate crisis is definitely an economic crisis, and it's definitely a humanitarian crisis. So we in this part of the world feel the humanitarian crisis the least, but it won't disappear to anywhere. And as cynical it sounds, there is a lot of business opportunity in providing solutions into these crises.
So, will sustainability win over the kittens?
Yeah, kittens are so important. Well, during the last few years, we had a lot of important things happening that took our attention away. First COVID, then Ukraine, and then our eyes were not on sustainability so much as probably some of us would like to. So I think those companies, those organizations that keep the consistency, keep going to the training and throwing the ball every day or twice a day, they would be the strongest despite what's happening around. So you can communicate and you have to deal with various issues, but that has to stay in your priority list very high. This is what we do.
And you're doing it very, very well. Thank you all. Thank you for our distinguished speakers. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for coming here. And as I mentioned, please don't run away. We have an interesting excursion being starting just in a couple of minutes to this wonderful museum. And I think that they are going to go downstairs to the transformation hall. Yeah, it's amazing. If you haven't been there, I highly recommend it. They have these huge Tesla machines. I don't know how they are called in English, but in Lithuanian it's Tesla Sritas. And they're going to play some music with it. It's going to be fantastic. Please try it. Yeah, grab a coffee, grab a croissant. Thank you so much for being here. It's wonderful to see you all. Have a brilliant day and a brilliant spring. Thanks.
Thank you.